Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Sania Chaudhary and you are watching YouTube channel. The last bullet in the kitty of PDM finally let loose and wasted. The decision of which was to be announced by Election Commission of Pakistan was finally disclosed. It is important to understand a couple of things. What is the significance of these funds for parties? Why do they need these? There are a large number of activities that are regularly carried out by the political parties. They bear the expenses of offices throughout the country, which are the party offices. Then there are political public gatherings, large jalsas that have to be arranged from time to time, and more so especially since PTI was ousted from power, and election campaigns and similar many other activities. Accounts are opened in the name of the party in several places, both at home and abroad, to ensure that these funds can be made available in the time of need. There is a large following of PTI abroad, and these overseas Pakistani regularly contribute to PTI. The second important thing that needs to be discussed is the difference between foreign funding and prohibited funding. Foreign funding is the funding in which other nations send money through various channels which may be both legal or illegal to a specific country, and that money is used in that specific country against the interests of the state. This is foreign funding, which is banned. The second type of funding is prohibited funding, which means that a certain methodology is laid out within the law of the country, in this case Pakistan, and any money that is legal and allowed to reach the organizations within the country from overseas, it has to come according to the parameters which have been prescribed in the law. So if anything happens apart from that, then this type of funding is going to be called prohibited funding. So once the decision was announced, it was established that the funding that had reached PTI and that was in question, it was merely prohibited funding. There were several issues or matters raised, questions raised by ECP, one of which was that money had come through several companies, and one of which was the LLC. LLC is a limited liability company, and after 9/11, the Federal Agency Registration Act, FARA, of United States, it was formed, and according to this act, any money that is to be collected within the states has to be collected by a certain incorporated company, which is a limited liability company, and only then it can be forwarded to the country for which it has been collected. Another issue was regarding certain accounts which the PTI says were opened without its consent, and there was no letter of consent issued by the party leadership to open those accounts. One thing is certain, that the tough parameters that have been set for determining the foreign funding or the prohibited funding of PTI is going to be very damaging to PDM once their cases start to be heard. The outcome of those cases may not be as mild or toned down as it was for PTI. When the decision came, copies were distributed to the media, but final verdict, there was another line added that ECP would be sending this decision on to the government for action, which seems to be a last-minute addition to it, perhaps at the behest of the government. PTI has now moved a judicial reference against this verdict of Election Commission of Pakistan before the Supreme Judicial Council, because ECP has proven that it has showed clearly that it has been biased in its dealing of PTI in comparison with the rest of the political parties. The biased behavior of ECP is evident from 8 cases that were against PTI as decided by ECP, but they were turned down by the courts and reversed or given in favor of PTI. Apart from that, the matter that the last minute addition in the verdict regarding the case being forwarded to the government for action has also been taken up in the reference by PTI. The PDM government is keen to seek a ban on PTI or to remove Imran Khan or to arrest him. However, they are in a position to restrain PTI in the next general elections. They are willing to go that route. But it may not be all that easy because the provisions in the law barely provide for confiscation of any prohibited funding, and beyond that, it is just running in the wild. That's all for now. Take care.